Samantha Taylor's transformation story led to her opening a private studio for women in Tampa Bay. A former food and sugar addict, really? She beat her own addictions and now teaches other women how to do it as well. And now she is back with us to tell us her story. I gotta say, I love this idea, Samantha, getting to know you a little bit better. How are you?
Good.
So, okay, you're calling yourself a sugar addict.
It used to be.
I will say, you know me, I'm always loving the cupcakes when you walk in here. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. How were you able to make the change? I mean, talk about your past life a little bit.
Well, when I met my husband, I was 17 years old, and he was a bodybuilder. So we started going to the gym. He's like, look, if I'm going to date you, we got to start going to the gym. All I had in my fridge was broccoli and ketchup. Broccoli was for the iguana. Ketchup was for French fries at fast food restaurants.
Nice. My kind of fridge, not the iguana part, but.
Yeah, so he's like, you got to start working out. So I started working out with him, many years ago, 25 years ago. So he started taking me to the gym, and we have a picture of him, but that's just something that was really impactful for me because I had never worked out before. But what he didn't know was I was a food addict. And that picture was actually taken at one of our parties. And what's so cool about that is he actually has our shirt on that says Samantha Taylor Fitness. He was the first one that ever kind of called it that because I've always called it another name. And everyone's like, everyone knows your name, you should go by that. But I don't know, it just felt prideful to call it that name. So I've been accepting it, but it was just so cute because he's the first one that wore that shirt. So he's the one that really influenced me, but the food addictions, he didn't know anything about that or what to do about that.
I will say, well, of course, I joke that I love my French fries and I love my cupcakes and we have fun with it. It's kind of our thing. But let's dive deeper into that. And so you admit that you were an addict. How were you able, you had to change within, your husband couldn't have made that change for you. So how'd you make that evolution?
The biggest start was I was actually binging at Pizza Hut. And I'm a local celebrity. People recognize me pretty much wherever I go, which I'm sure they do you, much more than me. And this server that was my waitress saw all the food I was eating. And she looked at me and she looked at the food and she goes, "Aren't you that health expert in the paper?" And I was like, oh, I felt busted. Like the 9 o'clock news had found me. This health expert is now binging on 5,000 calories of pizza. I went back to the gym and I got in the same treadmills that I have trained hundreds of people at that time. And I just started weeping uncontrollably. I don't know if you've ever had a moment in your life where you just realize, what is going on? Who have I become? And personally, I had a spiritual experience. God really started impressing upon my heart that my body is the temple of God. And that it was a gift and that it was my responsibility to take care of it. And I was not doing what I was supposed to do. And there's even a scripture that talks about that. How can you see the plank in someone else's eye, the speck in someone else's eye when you have a plank in your own? So I literally started little by little dealing with my issues. I had sugar addiction was a big one, binging, emotional eating. I was just a wreck.
Okay, so I'm fascinated to hear you say this because you have changed so many women's lives in the Bay Area based on the nutrition. So was one of those things like it was hard to incorporate for yourself, being a called sugar addict, or how were you able to finally make that change? What were those things that added up? The refrigerator first change, or how did that happen?
It started with a heart change. So remember, I knew all the head knowledge of what to do. I was the #1 trainer in the company out of 2,000 trainers, and I'm binging on whole pizzas on my lunch break. So there was something missing. For me, and it doesn't happen for everybody this way, but for me, it took something bigger than just a weight loss goal or just getting off food addictions. It was saying, wow, God, you gave me this body as a gift. It is my God-given responsibility to honor it. So that's where it started. So it was much deeper than just like a diet or food or anything like that. And then I just started honestly praying and getting into the Bible and asking my Creator, who knows my body more than anybody, to help me. And I found that I was an emotional eater, and the foods that I ate caused more cravings. So that was the problem. Sometimes you think, oh, I'm just such a wreck. I've got all these food problems. Sometimes it's the food that's causing those problems. And when you find the balance of how to eat nutritionally, you will be amazed at how much your cravings are gone, just gone.
Well, and I will say we were actually out of time, but I want to throw this out there really quick. How does your story help you relate to your clients?
It helped me understand what people are dealing with, because I wasn't just some skinny trainer that didn't understand nutrition. I have walked the path that they have walked. And one of the other pictures that we had there was when my husband and I were in Colorado. And when I turned 40, I set a goal to go 3 months with no sugar. It has now been 3.5 years and I've had no sugar. And it's amazing and so empowering to have that kind of victory.
Wow. Again, Samantha, thank you so much for sharing your stories. As always, the website's on your screen there for more information.